Aztecs lead on the road in Logan, Utah for most of their big conference game against second-place Utah State, but go cold down the stretch and lose the mid-morning conference game on national TV on Saturday, 71-66. Aggies come out on top, tie the Aztecs for first place in the Mountain West. Aztecs missing yet another opportunity for a resume-building win. Aztecs will now head into the month of February tied for first place in the Mountain West. On Saturday night, got to expect New Mexico to join the party at the top with 9-2 Mountain West Conference marks. They're scheduled to face San Jose State. Steve Perez here, and Lewis Weiner along in a bit for this episode of Aztecs All In, getting right to it for this mid-morning game. Again, no Magungwath, no Elsie Harrington, both still out with injuries. Aztecs missed that slight edge in bench strength scoring on the road in Logan, Utah, 4,700 feet above sea level. So the Aztecs are in their road black jerseys with red trim at the Spectrum Arena. The arena holds a little more than 10,000. Many of them are students who wear those blue surgical gloves for their games, which I must say makes men of a certain age uncomfortable just looking at them. All those gloves, all those hands. No, Doc, I'm good, really. Anyway, this particular matchup of Mountain West top dogs, it ended with the Aztecs unable to separate from the pack. Aztecs came into this game with one of the best scoring totals in the nation from its bench, but at home, it was the Aggies who prevailed on that stat. 27 bench points to the Aztecs' 20. Aztecs also bullied in the paint. Aggies scoring 40 of their points inside. They grabbed 15 offensive rebounds. Overall, Aggies won the game on the glass, 46-31. Carson Templin stepping in off the bench with 18 on 7 of 10 shooting. And Adian Ellenin, a gangly 6'9 freshman, a 4-star prospect out of St. Paul Catholic High School in Chantilly, Virginia, he chipped in 13. Aztecs get a big performance from Reese Dixon-Waters, RDW, 19 points in 33 minutes of play, but BJ Davis pressed into starting duty in this game. He was held to 8 points and fouled out late on a terrible call on defense. He was the team's leading rebounder with 6. Tay Simmons had 9. Wins are tough for visiting teams in Logan, where the Aggies have only lost once. The win, of course, would have helped the Aztecs in the Schmetrics. Utah State is 25 in the net rankings. Those are used by the NCAA. Aztecs came into the game at 45, and they are third best in the conference in that department. New Mexico sandwiched in between Aggies and Aztecs at 38. The Aztecs will get their chance for a rematch when the Aggies visit Viejas. I'm going to go to the notepad for this game rather than a blow-by-blow watching the CBS TV coverage. First, treated to a football game on a basketball court. For much of the early going, there were few points on either side due to a lot of tough defense in the first 5 minutes. There were a lot of non-called fouls, maybe. There were a lot of called fouls, too. A lot of bodies on the floor. Hard-fought battles for rebounds underneath. Aztecs forced the Aggies into a lot of poor shots deep into the shot clock, but the Aggies able to overcome that enough with quick inbounds passes down court or just enough points in transition to overcome the Aztecs' edge in fast break points. 19-5 were the Aztecs. Aztecs got 21 points off turnovers, and they won that turnover battle. They forced 18 to their own 13. A new look for Pharoah Compton on the court in a face mask, the 6'7 sophomore trying to protect a broken nose. He didn't look terribly comfortable in it. Compton also got into foul trouble in the game, limited to 11 minutes and 4 foul calls. Speaking of fouls, Tasha Gorville drew a technical late in the first half of the game. One the Aztecs led by as much as 11 at one point. He'll make a great play, scoring on a jumper to make it 34-26 Aztecs, and then he says something after the shot that draws a technical. All right, come on, guys. It's probably something we can all draw from. You make a shot or do something well, just move on. Leave the other stuff to the guys on the bench or their cheerleaders. Instead, the technical gives Utah State 2 points from the free throw line by M.J. Collins. He was the team's leading scorer coming into this game with 19 on average. but was held to 12 by the Aztecs D. But that technical would lead to 2 more on the ensuing possession when the Aggies get the ball into Templin underneath. And just like that, in a half where the Aztecs were building momentum and clearly outplaying the Aggies, Aggies instead pull within 5 and manage to tie the game at the half. Got to resist that impulse that gives the other team momentum and the hometown crowd more energy. And then in the second half, Taj, another great play. He makes it 52-45. Aztecs with a steal that leads to an easy 2 inside by Tay Simmons. But there he is again, firing up the local crowd, going into a timeout with some hands in the air antics. There's still 9:58 to play. I say don't give that crowd or anyone else in Logan any additional motives to create any more additional energy. A few more notes about the game before moving on, because this one's over, done with. Learn from it, move on. First, Aztecs need to learn not to attempt risky cross-court passes and value that round ball when they have it while going up against excellent defensive teams, which the Aggies are. Just a handful of possessions that didn't end with sloppy ball handling or long passes that led to interceptions that probably should have been directed elsewhere. You take those away, you get those turnovers down to single digits, and Aztecs would have been defending from in front in the closing moments instead of being forced to score quickly and jack up threes from behind. This was an extremely close game. Aztecs were within 2 within a minute 27 left to play after RDW generated 5 points on offense, 2 from the line, and a made 3. But the Aggies won this close game down the stretch with the Aztecs in foul trouble. They shot well. They made easy scores as a result. They made 7 of their last 9. Aztecs forced to shuttle players in and out down the stretch. Finally, Miles Bird had 7 from the field on 3 of 12 shooting in a game where his team needed more out of him offensively. He's had to play big defense inside with Goon out of the lineup, so good on him leading the team with 3 blocked shots, countless altered shots, and 2 steals. But in this particular road game, that stellar defense did not convert to the offensive side. Aztecs have a home game against Wyoming, followed by a road game against Air Force in Colorado Springs. So coaches and players have chances to work on getting better, as Aztecs teams have a habit of doing this time of year. Here's Lewis with more from the Colorado State game earlier in the week.
Steve, Aztecs with their toughest stretch of the season to date, 3 road games out of 4, and the lone home game against a pesky Colorado State team that can shoot the lights out from 3. Aztecs split the first 2 road games, losing by a point at Grand Canyon and a double-digit win at UNLV, which means they cannot risk a home loss to the Rams if they have any hope of getting an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. And they'll go at this one shorthanded. Magoon Gwath out with a hip injury, and freshman LZ Harrington out with a leg injury. For this game, Jeremiah Oden got the start for Gwath, and sixth-man extraordinaire B.J. Davis back in the starting lineup for this one, replacing Harrington. Colorado State off to a hot start, a 5-0 lead after a Rashawn Memba layup and Jace Butler 3, and the Aztecs struggling offensively to start the game, missing their first 3 shots before Reese Dixon-Waters got the Aztecs on the board with a layup nearly 3 minutes into the game. Another Colorado State 3, this one from Kyle Jorgensen, gave the Rams an 8-2 lead, but the Aztecs even it up after 2 B.J. Davis free throws and back-to-back jumpers from Davis and Dixon-Waters, and we are knotted at 8. The Aztecs make it an 11-0 run to take a 13-8 lead, but the Rams battle right back with an Augustinus Kidulis 3 to tie it at 14. But the Aztecs defense takes control of the game as they go on a 19-10 run, scoring some easy baskets inside thanks to 2 dunks from Pharoah Compton, a step-back 3 from Taj DeGorville, and a Miles Bird layup to give the Aztecs an 11-point lead at 33-22. But the Aztecs allow the Rams to score the last 5 points of the half to give the Aztecs a 33-27 halftime lead. Aztecs hold the Rams to just 37% shooting in the first half, but they're able to stay in the game thanks to hitting 5 threes, but it took them 16 shots to make those 5, just a 31% clip. After a slow start, The Aztecs offense was pretty good, shooting 54% for the half. Aztecs kept that up in the second half, getting off to a fast start, helped out by a Utah State foul on Miles Bird as he put up a three late in the shot clock. He made all three free throws, and the lead was 36-27. A Dixon-Waters jumper, 2 Miles Heide free throws, and a Miles Bird two-handed dunk minutes after he missed a windmill one-handed dunk that Coach Dutcher wasn't too happy about, gave the Aztecs their biggest lead of the game, 41-27. After that, the Rams couldn't get any closer than 8 points the rest of the way after back-to-back threes from Brandon Reckstein and Josh Pasquarelli to make it 41-33. From that point on, it was all Aztecs, outscoring the Rams 32-17 the rest of the way. Even some of the guys who don't get to play much got in on the action late, with Cam Lewin hitting a late three. Aztecs defense was light out in the second half, even better than the first half, holding the Rams to just 28% shooting and just 3 of 14 from three-point range. Aztecs, on the other hand, shot 54% on the night, including a high of 16 from Dixon-Waters on 7 of 9 shooting and 2 for 2 from 3, and 15 from Pharoah Compton on 6 of 7 shooting. He was absolutely terrific. Aztecs got 21 points off of 17 Colorado State turnovers, and the bench chipped in 34 points. On the boards, the Rams got 10 second-half points off 11 offensive rebounds, but the Aztecs dominated from the paint, scoring 30 to Colorado State's 14. Here's Coach Brian Dutcher, Reese Dixon-Waters, and Pharoah Compton after the game.
This is a really good win today. And as a coach, I looked at this, even though it's a home game, like a trap game, because we're in the middle of 4 games, 3 of them on the road. So the one thing you can't do is lose that one home game. It's hard enough to win on the road. So we got a split at Vegas and Grand Canyon. Had a chance to get 2, didn't get it done. Had to win this game.
Limit their attempts that are quality looks. They're really good they're a great three-point shooting team. So, we know we had to lower their amount of makes in order to win this game. If they had made 15, it would have been pretty tough to, win this game. So just got to protect home court. I think we did a pretty good job with that. Personally, I just feel like I didn't do a good job, getting rebounds and helping my teammates out on the defensive end. So that's something that I'm definitely going to work on.
Shoot, the person in front of you is going to try their hardest to score on you. So if you just try your hardest to not let them do that, then it's not going to happen. And I feel like we've been buying into the coaching more, buying into what the coaches are telling us for the game plan, and sticking with that throughout the whole game.
Yeah, Coach Dave, he says a lot. Obviously, nobody's going to play San Diego State one-on-one. You're going to play one-on-5. But at the same time, there's certain moments where it's like it is one-on-one. You got to have pride on defense, kind of like what P says. So I think that's something we did pretty good at today, and we've been getting better at throughout the season.
Steve, one of the highlights of the night had nothing to do with the game itself. In fact, it happened during a timeout. The crowd started cheering after the PA announcer announced that Lamont Butler was in the house for the first time since senior night during the 2024 season. It was exciting to see how the crowd reacted to the Aztec for Life legend, who of course hit the last shot to win over Florida Atlantic to send the Aztecs to the championship game against Connecticut a few years ago. After the game, Coach Dutcher talked about what it was like having Lamont back in the house, and you will actually hear the reaction the crowd gave to Lamont Butler.
Yeah, I gave him a hug after the game. He's a San Diego State grad. He's got a degree in business from here, and he played 1 year of pro ball at University of Kentucky, where they paid him very well. But this is home for Lamont, and it always will be.
Steve, the Rams entered this game ranked 19th in the country with a 50.2 field goal percentage, but the Aztecs held them to 33%. That's their lowest mark of the season, and their lowest against a Mountain West opponent since 2022. Aztecs win their 40th straight game, holding opponents under 50 points. Steve, really good teams can pull out games even when they're not at their best. That was the case Wednesday in Fort Collins, Colorado, where the Aztec women's basketball team remained undefeated and in first place in the Mountain West Conference at 10-0 after surviving 46-44 over Colorado State. It was the Aztecs' 12th straight win and their 18th straight win over Mountain West opponents dating back to last season. Aztecs survived a ice-cold shooting day to pull this one out. After hitting 14 three-pointers in their previous game against San Jose State, the Aztecs didn't make a single three in this one, but they held the Rams to just 31% shooting and out-rebounded them 51-30. It's the first time the Aztecs have won a game without making a three in 10 years, and the 46 points are the fewest they have ever scored in a win in school history. Aztecs were led by Kaylin Hamilton with a career-high 15 points on 7 of 11 shooting. Alyssa Jackson had a career-high 11 rebounds, and while sophomore sensation Natalie Pegadaban was held without a field goal, she was 8 for 8 from the line in the second half. Steve, Aztecs became the 6th team in Mountain West Conference history to start the conference 10-0, and in each of the previous times 5 teams have done that, they made the NCAA tournament.
And Lewis, the Lady Aztecs continued their winning ways this one Saturday afternoon in Viejas Arena, rolling to a dominant 67-54 win over the Nevada Wolfpack, pushing their record to 17-3 overall, flawless, 11-0 in Mountain West play. That's their 13th straight victory. Aztecs leading this one from start to finish. They built a 19-14 edge after the first quarter with solid defense, efficient scoring. Nevada battled back in the second to cut it close at halftime, 30-27 San Diego State. But the Aztecs exploded in the third with a 23-14 run, stretching the lead to double digits, never looking back. They sealed it in the fourth, holding Nevada to 13 points while cruising on strong free throw shooting where they were 14 of 15 from the charity stripe and rebounding balance. Leading scorers in double figures for the Aztecs, Naomi Panganiban paced the way with 16 points and was perfect at the line, 7 of 7. Bailey Barnhart added 13 on strong inside work. Nala Williams chipped in 11 with solid all-around play. Leading rebounder Kennedy Lee topping the team with 4. Gritty board work overall, helping San Diego State control the glass despite Nevada's effort. Assist leaders tied at 3 assists each. Nat Martinez and Nala Williams keeping the ball moving in transition. Aztecs with the balanced attack and lockdown D. Too much for the pack, now 7-14, 3-8 in the Mountain West. Aztecs, meantime, stay red hot atop the conference. Next up, road challenges await. All right, that'll wrap up this edition of Aztecs All In. Be sure to do all that good, nice stuff you can do for us as you check us out on your favorite platform. There's the X channel for those of you with that app on your radar. The handle there, at Aztecs_all_in. The email address for those of you who can still compose sentences in the King's English, aztecsallin@gmail.com. For Louis Weiner, I'm Steve Perez, thanking you for checking in. We will check back in with you soon.